Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much. Prabal, are you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hello, hello. How are you?
I'm good. How about you?
Great. It's
Good.
9 o'clock in the morning here, so
Really
morning, not day. Yeah.
And you're in New York City right now?
Yes, I am. I am. In New York City, yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, especially this early in the morning.
Of course, yeah.
I'm curious though, because you're in New York City, which, granted, especially in the media, has received a lot of attention. What's the mood like there? How have you been?
Well, the mood here, especially over the last few weeks has been, I would say, hopeful and resilient. It has been, it's been incredible to witness everyone band together to support one another through this difficult times, whether it's businesses sharing resources or through charitable work. I also I live near Washington Square Park, which has been a really key gathering spot for all the Black Lives Matter marches. So the energy of the community standing in solidarity with this movement and fighting for positive change for Black lives in America has been humbling and emotional to witness, to say the least.
Yeah, I'm sure. The significance of this event also on Juneteenth doesn't go past me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where I grew up, Juneteenth was always a musical celebration in addition to a historical one. So it's great that we're celebrating it on that front. I know that this time has certainly impacted your business, but I also know that you've taken it as sort of a call to arms, and you've really faced it head on and started an initiative around face covering. So I wonder if you could just give us a little bit about that information, what you've been doing.
Yeah. So when COVID-19 began to affect New York City, and it felt as though our leadership in government failing to provide adequate support, I really felt that it was my responsibility, to be completely honest, as a citizen, to step up and contribute somehow. So at first we wanted to leverage our local production to produce masks for the hospitals. But when it became clear to us that our manufacturing capabilities and I would say would not, all the resources that we had would not heed the medical grade PPE, we pivoted to procure N95 masks to donate. So we partnered with the COVID Foundation to donate 2,000 N95 masks to in hospitals in marginalized areas and in New York, such as Harlem, Queens, and Brooklyn. And Queens especially because there's a large Nepali community there, and just reading about how the attention, as wherever there is a per capita income is higher, there's more attention there. So I decided to choose these 3 hospitals in those marginalized areas. Yeah.
Awesome. I will say that I guess evidence around the facial coverings is becoming more and more clear, and that we know that it's protecting not only yourself, but it's particularly the research shows that it affects other people. So I guess a question I have, because you are an expert in fashion, is well, do you have any tips in making your own masks, or do you what are your thoughts around that?
I would suggest, I think, first and foremost, yes, you have to wear a mask. It's not an option. I think it is just the most responsible thing to do as a human being, as a great citizen, a good citizen, a responsible person. So I would say, I would suggest for anyone trying to make a civilian mask to look up the suggested specifications by health organizations. That's, I think, is important. The more information you have from those top level resources, the safer you will be. So that's all I can say. So, and then, if you want to make customize and make it your own, go for it.
Yeah, it's that's spoken like a true fashion icon. I guess maybe it's a silly question then, but what's your mask look like?
Well, it's very mood dependent. I have variety of masks. Initially, we were using this medical grade mask and everything. And, as time goes by, as you walk around the city, this is our new normal. This is our way of our identity. So I would say, The one that we made was like, we created this like locally crafted, made in New York, handmade mask of upcycled materials. It's from all the couture fabrics that we use. We selected like a beautiful floral jacquard print in, I would say, sunny and romantic colorways, and I chose those because I wanted the mask to feel at least like, uplifting, optimistic, hopeful, and also ensuring the main thing is like, the breathability of the fabric, which was critical to us. So that was important. So yeah, so that's what our mask looks like, which is on sale right now. So we have a matching tote, I just saw like, what fashion can do during these times and style can do during these times is like literally bring hope, and some kind of like, I wouldn't say escapism, like, it's more like just being rooted to the ground, being hopeful and optimistic. So that's what I would say.
Yeah. I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, especially in this time, it's like that kind of hope is super important. And I guess, your advocacy and your commitment on this front is like really inspiring, and we do need to keep committed to our communities. So, I mean, particularly you have been committed to your communities, like the arts community, people of color. You've done lots of work around immigrants and other sort of frankly, your communities both in Nepal and in the United States. So I guess the thing I want to say first is thank you for doing all that work. Like,
no, not at all. Yeah, not at all. And yeah. Yeah, I'm like literally like, thank you so much for like having me today. Like, I feel like now more than ever, like I think it is important for us to step up, support one another, to really show up for another, for one another by speaking out for our rights and the rights of others, to fight for justice, to resist oppression, dismantle the patriarchy, and celebrate the world of the beautifully diverse place that it is, And let's not also forget, it is June, it's Pride Month here. It's a big important thing for us. Like, so I think, just learning to not tolerate, but like celebrate the differences, of like who we all are as humans, and really learn from each other. Because that's how I feel like I'm on a constant space of learning and unlearning. And that's why I feel like I'm very optimistic, because there's so much more to learn and do.
Right. We actually have a couple more minutes, so maybe you could talk
about
where you are like on that learning curve, like particularly as we sort of begin the reopening, like what's going on with that?
So so basically, so New York City right now, it's in its lowest amongst all the cities. Apparently, that's what I heard in the news. But there's everyone's talking about the second wave when it comes to this COVID-19 pandemic. I also think so. There's in terms of what you can do, what you can't do, like the fear that is attached to this unknown virus. But more than the fear that is the virus in itself, the fear of like this racism that's like compounding, like it's like increasing in this country globally. That has been like the biggest thing for me. And just to understand, like I think we need, for some reason, this I would say this COVID-19 pandemic was the catalyst for everything that's systemically like wrong in our society, and so it's like a learning about. So one of the things that I did was I wrote an op-ed on Washington Post about how our own community, the Asian community, can step up the plate and support Black Lives Matter, because they fought for all the liberties and everything that we are enjoying right now in this world, and especially in this country. Our African American Black people like fought for it, and like for instance, even as a gay man, like for the Pride event and all that stuff that we celebrate, it was like Black trans women who fought for it in the beginning. So just and so what has been a lot of like learning and unlearning has been for me about understanding the racism within our and micro-racism, microaggression, racism that people may not even know that it is a racism within our community, within our culture, within our country, whether it's colorism, whether it's sexism, whether it's ageism, those all exist. It exists here, it exists in Nepal. I grew up noticing that. So yeah, so like a lot to unpack, a lot to learn, lot to yeah, so that's where I am right now.
Awesome. And is your line, is it moving? Like, are you doing events in the near future, or what's that?
So what's happening right now in the fashion industry, like any other industry, has been hit really badly. Like, so we are, as we are, like, I'm in this Zoom calls with like 70, 80 designers across the globe, like just having planning what the future looks like. So we're calling it like rewiring fashion, right? And so it's been like a kind of like, readjusting, reflecting and reinventing mode that we are in. And I think for sure, like for this year, 2020, there might not be fashion week, there might not be shows, which is rightfully so, because we don't even know if we have cure, which we won't have for a while. But it's also, so we've pivoted our business to wholesale and e-commerce. And so it's been exciting to learn things, and it's challenging, but I always say, if it was easy, everyone would do it, so I'd rather be faced with challenges and learn. Even if you fail, I'd rather go with learning that just remains static and not learn at all.
Awesome. Well, what I'll say is both times that you and I have checked in together, your curiosity and your sort of vivacity for life, like, translates.
Oh, thank you very much. No, thank you. And how are you guys doing?
We're good. We are still remaining very, very busy, and these are trying times, but my job, I couldn't be happier. And in terms of just, we're managing to translate things, but I'm ready to like see people. I think you and I know each other, that I'm people to people person. I like to be with people.
Yeah. No, and I hear you. And I think it's great that you guys are doing this. It's a great way of connecting with people. It's like for me, what I think is, even in these trying times, the last 2 hearings from the Supreme Court, which is, honest to God, that is like, the most exciting thing, the most optimistic, positive things. And so somebody was like, so like, what's my type? When you're talking about, oh, you want a partner, you want a lover, you want a whatever, and I was like, nothing turns me on more than like courage and integrity. Someone who has integrity, and someone who is able to live it out loud and risk it all. Nothing interests me. So it was really, I would say, if Supreme Court was a person, I would date that person.
Well,
so, yeah.
Thanks again for sharing your talent and your voice with us. We appreciate all that you do. I know that you have major fans in both Nepal and the United States. So
thank you very much. That's very kind. Yeah.
And I look forward to talking with you soon.
Yeah. All right. Namaste. All right. Take care, everyone. Okay.
Feedback.